To the Woods, A Journey Along the Appalachian Trail, written and narrated by John Scott. Chapter 1. The Appalachian Trail. I hiked 2,100 miles to celebrate my life. I started the Appalachian Trail at Springer Mountain, Georgia, in April, and ascended Mount Katahdin, Maine, in October, having hiked through 14 states and 3 seasons. That year, 2000, some 3,500 hikers intended to cover the route in 4 to 6 months, carrying all their belongings in a rucksack and sleeping in the forest along the trail. Most through hikers started in the early months and faced spring, snow, and storms, while others started as late as May and hiked hard to Katahdin to miss winter in Maine. The weather defined our lives for the length of the trail, including start and finish. Like most, I travelled south to north, but a smaller number, known as southbounders or SOBOs, travelled in the opposite direction. About 450 finished. Typical reasons for going home included exhaustion, lack of funds, boredom, and physical injury or illness. In that millennium year, the numbers of through hikers were the highest seen. Numbers have since dropped substantially, but the completion rate remains around 12 to 15%. I first heard of the trail during an extended stay in South Africa in 1995, when I had hiked no more than 200 miles over a period of a few weeks, typically from town to town and comfort to comfort. The trail is the oldest long-distance hiking route in the US and was begun with an article in the Journal of the American Institute of Architects on a proposed project in regional planning. Officials and volunteers took that project, or at least the route assumed by it, to something nearing completion in the period 1929 to 37, with a footpath over the Appalachian mountain range that stretched from Maine to Georgia. The Appalachian Trail Conference, or ATC, was formed at that time, charged with the management, promotion and protection of the trail. The conference remains a model of public-private cooperative management of natural and recreational resources. A hurricane broke the trail's continuity in 1938, and the effects of World War II and enforced rerouting kept it broken until 1951, when, yet again, much voluntary effort reopened it. In 1968, the US Congress adopted the trail as a unit of the National Park System and the first National Scenic Trail, creating a means for state and federal bodies to acquire land. It is now the world's longest publicly owned footpath, with much land around it, also in public hands. Its upkeep is almost entirely conducted by thousands of volunteers in a federation of local outdoor clubs coordinated by the ATC, a small but highly effective charity based in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. I had no experience of hiking in the wilds, carrying my life on my back and being exposed to the elements over a long period. The challenges in my life had been academic and professional rather than physical, and so I found it difficult to envisage this epic journey, in part because I could see no point in hiking such a distance. In a very real sense, I had neither the tools nor the experience with which to imagine the enormity of the trail. My faint-hearted approach to adventure combined neatly with a typically European response to American commercial and cultural imperialism. I imagined the trail would be unimaginably long. Lippy Americans would surround me, and it was likely to be sponsored by Nike, McDonald's, and Amex. Just do it, eat it, and spend it was not about to become the theme of my late 30s. My experience of travelling had always been in relatively comfortable places and cultures, and it struck me as a piece of madness to attempt a trail which offered neither. However, I later welcomed this very same madness into my life.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?